Good day all, and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be looking at a class in biology, which is supporting tissues in animals. All right. Now this is a very important topic, especially those students that are preparing to writing biology in exams such as JAM, WAEC, and other related exams. So what I want you to do is just to pay attention, be very attentive, because this topic is very important, one of the most relevant topics in the world of biology. Now, looking at this topic, supporting tissues, the word tissue is simply a collection of different cells to perform a specific function. Okay, so we are interested in looking at tissues that aids in the provision of support to animals. Generally, living things could be grouped under two headings. We have them could to be either under the animals or under plants. So the ones we are looking at would be on animals, that's the supporting tissues in animals. All right. So we'll start by looking at skeleton. But meanwhile, these are the list of things that we'll be considering in this topic. We have skeleton, we have skeletal materials, types of skeleton, divisions of skeleton, as well as functions of skeleton. Now, we are going to be having two video series on this. Now, the first part of the video will be on skeleton, skeletal materials, and types of skeleton. Now, while in the second video, we'll be looking at divisions of skeleton as well as the functions of skeleton. To start with, let's look at what skeleton is. Skeleton. Simply put it this way, that skeleton is the bony framework of the body that provides shape, support, and protects the delicate organs of the body. I will go over that again. Skeleton is the bony framework of the body that provides shape, support, and protects the delicate organs of the body. Now, you can't give the definition of skeleton without including some of the functions of skeleton. In case you are asked, what is the main supporting tissue in animals? Please, the main supporting tissue in animals remains skeleton. All right? And we all know the definition of skeleton already. Then the next, what makes up skeleton? What are the materials that you can see makes up skeleton? That will bring us to the next, being the skeletal materials. Now, looking at the materials that makes up skeleton, they happen to be three in number. So the skeletal materials that we have are three, and they include, first, we have the chitin, and second, we have the cartilage, and third, we have the bone. All right, so we have three main skeletal materials, and they are chitin, cartilage, and bone. So we are going to treat them one after the other. To start with, let's consider chitin. Now, chitin is simply a carbohydrate material that is actually a polysaccharide. It is made up of repeated units of glucose linked together to form a long chain, which is known to be an example of a polysaccharide. And again, it is tough, it is flexible, and it is a light skeletal material. All right? And one thing you need to know about chitin is this. Chitin is usually waterproof in nature, meaning that it is water resistant. It tends to serve as hydrofuge for organisms that possess it. And of course, it tends to prevent wetting action. All right? Chitin is considered to be the only non-living skeletal material, meaning it does not contain living cells. So don't forget that. All right? One thing again that you need to understand about chitin is this, that chitin is hardened by the deposition of proteins and minerals. Now, the minerals can come in the form of calcium deposits, calcium compounds deposits. All right, so that's one thing that you need to know about chitin. And mind you, chitin is seen to be the main skeletal material that is present in arthropods, the skeleton of arthropods. When we get to that of types of skeleton, then we get to understand how chitin plays a vital role in the skeletal makeup of arthropods. All right. The next is cartilage. Now, cartilage is similar to that of chitin in terms of its form, in that it is a light, flexible, and tough skeletal material. Though it differs from chitin in that it is made up of living cells, hence we can say that cartilage is living. And what are the living cells that are found in cartilage? They include the chondroblasts and the chondrocytes. So these are considered to be the living cells that are present in cartilage. Again, cartilage are not supplied with blood vessels, meaning they do not have any blood vessels. So they get nourished by simple diffusion. That is what even makes cartilage to be different from bones. All right. And also, one thing that you need to know is this, that some vertebrates only have the possession of cartilage. They do not have bones. For example, we could have vertebrates such as the sharks and the rays. Sharks and rays as species do not have any bone. The only thing that they possess is cartilage. Hence, they are called cartilaginous fishes. So that's considered to be their main skeletal material. All right. Then we have types of cartilage. What are some of the types of cartilage that we have? Now, they happen to be three main types of cartilage. One is called the elastic. So we have elastic cartilage, and the second is hyaline cartilage. So we have hyaline cartilage. Then we have fibrocartilage. So these are the three types of cartilage that we have. And of course, elastic cartilage is actually present in the external ear, talking about the pinna. And it's not only present there, it's also present in the epiglottis, which is a flap-like structure that tends to cover the glottis during swallowing action. All right. So you must take cognizance of the regions where they are present. For the elastic, this one is found in the external ear, also called the pinna, and it's also present in the epiglottis. All right. Then for the hyaline cartilage, this cartilage is found in the protruding part of the nose. All right. So it is present in the protruding part of the nose. The protruding part of the nose. It is also present in the surface of movable joints. Surface of movable joints, and it is also found in the trachea and also the bronchi as well. All right, that's talking about the gut. Then for fibrocartilage, this one is present exclusively in the intervertebral disc, of the vertebral column, in the intervertebral disc of the vertebral column. All right. So you can even say it's correct to say that the fibrocartilage is actually considered to be the toughest cartilage, the toughest type of cartilage. All right. So let's leave cartilage and let's move straight to bones. Now, looking at bones, of course, bones are skeletal materials that are also living. Remember, I said that chitin is non-living, cartilage is living, as well as bones. So for bones are simply tough, rigid. This time they are not flexible, they are rigid, and they are hard skeletal materials that are made up of living cells. The living cells that are found in bones are called osteoblasts and osteocytes. All right. So these are the living cells that are present in bones. Again, they are also made up of protein fibers that are called collagens. So the collagens are considered to be the protein fibers that are present in bones. All right, and again they are also hardened by the deposition of calcium compounds in the form of calcium phosphates and calcium carbonates. All right, don't forget, quick fact, the study of bones is called osteology. The study of bones is called osteology. And in an adult human, there are about 206 bones. For adults, 206 bones, all right, for adults. Then for children, there are about 300 bones that are present in children. So it's very, very surprising that children, they have more bones than adults. And that's even the reason why they are subjected to easy fracture. All right. So when they grow up, the bones now come together and form a firmer and a stronger large mass of bone. All right. So that's what causes the reduction of the numbers of bones. All right, in adults. Then we have seen that the bones are also living. They still play a vital role in the provision of support. All right. So we are going to stop at the skeletal materials this point, and then let's move on to the types of skeleton. The types of skeleton. But meanwhile, children that are just newly giving birth to, a child that is just newly giving birth to, has cartilage in the body. And of course, you know that as the child grows up, what happens? The cartilage gets converted to bone. That process of converting a cartilage to bone is called ossification. So please don't forget this. The process of converting a cartilage to bone is called ossification. All right, and it usually occurs in children. Of course, you know that in the body, there are bones that are not completely ossified, and they are present in the ear. They are called the ear ossicles. All right. So when we get to probably the ears, then I will explain much about that in another topic. So let's look at the types of skeleton. The types of skeleton. Types of skeleton. There are three main types of skeleton, and they include: one, we have the exoskeleton. We have the exoskeleton. Two, we have the endoskeleton. We have the endoskeleton. Then three, we have the hydrostatic. The hydrostatic skeleton. All right. So these are the three types of skeleton that we have. Now, starting with the exo. The word exo stands for outer. All right. So we can say that exoskeleton, they are simply skeletons that are found in the outer part of organisms that possess it. And classical examples of organisms that possess exoskeleton are the arthropods. The arthropods. Now you can take your mind back to your classification system where we talk about the classification of invertebrates and that of vertebrates. For that of invertebrates, we have the different phyla, and of which one of the phylums of the invertebrates happens to be phylum Arthropoda. And phylum Arthropoda is considered to be the largest phylum of the invertebrates. All right, take cognizance of that. The largest phylum of the invertebrates is the phylum Arthropoda. And of course, organisms that are found there are called arthropods. Why is the phylum Arthropoda considered to be the largest phylum? It is because it has different classes, about four of them. Now, for the phylum Arthropoda, let me quickly just touch a bit on this. The phylum Arthropoda, we have four different classes. And what are these four different classes? We have the first to be the Myriapoda. We have the second to be the Arachnida. We have the third to be the Crustaceans and the Insecta. So these are the four classes that we have of the phylum Arthropoda. So you see the reason why it is considered to be the largest phylum. Now this Myriapoda can further be broken down into Chilopoda, and Diplopoda. Chilopoda and Diplopoda. Now, an example of a chilopod is centipede. Centipede. Why an example of a diplopod is millipede. All right, millipede. Then classical examples of arachnids are we have the spider, the scorpion, the ticks, the mites, and the rest. Then for crustaceans, we have the prawns, the prawns, shrimps, crab, and the rest. Then all insects, they are under the class Insecta. And again, the most populous class, the most populous class of the phylum Invertebrata series now is actually the class Insecta. All right, or you could say the most populous class of the invertebrates is considered to be the class Insecta. So don't forget that. All right. So all the organisms here, all the organisms, they possess what? Exoskeleton. And mind you, when I was talking on the chitin as a skeletal material, I said that it is the main skeletal material in arthropods, the exoskeleton of arthropods. That's even the reason why you discover that when a cockroach falls in water, its feather does not get wet. Why? Because there is the presence of chitin in its exoskeleton. Remember, cockroach is an insect and is under the phylum Arthropoda, so it's an arthropod. Do you understand the point? So now, how does those organisms with exoskeleton, how do they grow? How do they grow? Now, the growing action, the growth of organisms that possess exoskeleton is by the shedding off of old outermost exoskeleton to be replaced by new ones, and thus leading to an increase in their size. That process is called molting. Molting. It's called molting, or you can call it edisis. All right. So the process in which arthropods or organisms shed off their exoskeleton in order to get it replaced and increase in size is called molting or edisis, and that is usually exhibited by arthropods. All right. So the main skeletal material of exoskeleton remains chitin. So let's move on to endoskeleton. Endoskeleton. Now, endoskeleton is the skeleton that is present in the inner part of organisms that possess it. The word endo stands for what? Inner. Remember I said exo stands for what? Outer. So the one endo is what? Inner. All right. So organisms that possess endoskeleton are usually the vertebrates. I want to talk about vertebrates. Remember that the evolutionary advancement of vertebrates follows this code para, which is Pisces, amphibians, reptiles, apes, and mammals. All these are considered to be vertebrates. And vertebrates are known to possess endoskeleton. In fact, looking at mammals, of course, an example is man. In man, we possess endoskeleton. Our skeleton is not visible, it's within our bodies. All right. And the main skeletal material of endoskeleton is bone. All right. That's the main skeletal material of endoskeleton. So, like I said, vertebrates are known to possess endoskeleton. Although advanced level will let you know some certain stuff, that it is not just only endoskeleton that is found in humans. We still have exoskeleton as well. Of course, you know, there are some exoskeleton that are found in our bodies that we do not even know. For example, exoskeleton, our fingers. Okay, and then even some other organisms, when you get to your advanced level, they will now explain all this to you, that an organism can possess both exoskeleton and what? Endoskeleton. All right. Then the last is hydrostatic skeleton. Now, looking at hydrostatic skeleton, it is simply a kind of skeleton that involves the creation of fluid pressure on body walls to bring about a formation of form to an organism. So what am I trying to say? That organisms that possess hydrostatic skeleton are simply organisms that their muscular walls, they are filled with fluid. And in fact, it is even due to the exertion of the fluid pressure on their body walls that brings about movement for them. And classical examples of organisms that possess hydrostatic skeleton includes the worms. When we talk about worms, we are referring to the earthworm, we are referring to the ascaris, we are referring to the hookworm, the threadworm, worms exclusively. They possess what? They possess hydrostatic skeleton. All right. So we've been able to look at the different types of skeleton. Please take note of this. Never should you mistake the types of skeleton for the divisions of skeleton. Because in our next video, we are going to be considering the divisions of skeleton, looking at the two main divisions, axial and appendicular skeleton, as well as the functions of skeleton. All right. So I urge you to always visit this channel and then get yourself equipped for your exams ahead and for you to be better in your studies, for you to ace up your academic work. All right. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed, and then you can inform your friends to invite them to come to this channel and benefit as well. I remain Rema. God bless you. Thanks.